Good afternoon and welcome to CS Week Marketplace webinar series, and we'd like to also thank you for your patience while we resolved our technical difficulties. CS Week Marketplace offers fresh perspectives and strategies presented monthly by knowledge specialists from the Conference 39 Platinum and Gold sponsors. I'm Lisa Collins with CS Week, and I'll be your moderator today, along with David Constantine from Smart Utility Systems. Mark your calendars for CS Week and Conference 40, which will be held April 25th to the 29th, 2016, at the Phoenix Convention Center in Phoenix, Arizona. Watch your email and our social media channels for registration information. This program will be recorded and available for playback along with our other archived presentations. You'll be able to find it under the Educational Venues tab, third Tuesday and Thursday webinars link on our website later this afternoon. Attendees are encouraged to upload questions to the Q&A panel as they arise. However, all questions will be held until after the presentation for the Q&A segment. Please ensure that you address all your questions to all panelists so that we may see them. At this time, I'm going to hand the presentation over to David Constantine.
Thank you. And thanks everybody for joining us this morning or this afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in. We've got a very special guest today for our presentation on Unfolding Utility Digital Customer Engagement and Communication. And joining us today, we can just advance the slide for a moment. While we wait for the slide to advance, joining us today is currently the Vice President of Customer Service for Smart Utility Systems, but more importantly, an industry veteran for the utilities industry, the past Director of Customer Service for Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, the largest municipal utility in the United States. Lance has managed more than 1,500 employees, and he's been involved in providing customer service to more than 1.8 million customers. He is also an alum of the University Cal State Northridge, and he will be presenting to us our agenda. And while we wait for the agenda to come up.
Thank you. Now, David, I have forwarded the slide. I do see it on the speakers page. Are you unable to see it?
No, we are caught up now. Yes. No, everything is
great. Super.
Perfect. So today, Lance is going to cover the challenge of digital communication. He's going to go deeper into the digital engagement and how we can change our customer behavior, as well as our digital strategy for utilities. He's also going to talk about some solutions and the value with solutions. And so with that, what I'd like to do is just go to the next slide, and we will just give you a quick primer on who we are. So Smart Utility Systems has been around since 2009. We're based here on the West Coast in Southern California with over 300 employees. We've recently received a number of awards, including recognized by Red Herring Magazine as one of their top 100 businesses. And plus, we were recognized by SmartGrid with the 2015 Product of the Year. Amongst our entire management team, we possess centuries of collective experience in the utilities industry. Along with Lance, Smart Utility Systems features past executives from companies like Southern California Edison, as well as other utilities throughout the United States. So with that, let me go ahead and hand over our presentation to Mr. Lance Brown, our speaker today. Lance, I will go into mute and let you take over our presentation.
Thank you, David. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I just wanted to make sure everyone can see my slide. Right now I'm looking at a slide that's a stop sign. It's got, an indicator of a street sign with the future, the past, and the present on it. We're going to talk a little today about where we are, I believe where we're going, and talking about what Smart Utility Systems does bring to the table about digital communication. Again, my name is Lance Brown. I've been in the industry for about 35 years. I was the Director of Customer Services for the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, and I retired in 2011. But I've been very, very active in organizations and certainly with SUS, because my feeling has always been that the customer experience with utilities, large or small, it leaves a lot to be desired, especially in an area today where customers are receiving a type of communication capability, mobile communication, real-time communication, from almost all other industries that they're dealing with, certainly from banking, from healthcare, obviously all of your shopping and your ability to move calendars, make reservations, look up information at your fingertips. We're really changing to a very digital age and the tools of choice of that digital age. So in digital communication, obviously it really looks at how people are going to control their environments, control their lives, schedule their lives, and do all of those things with a small mobile device, which is what most people work on at this point when they are out. But the rising compliance costs and changes in customer expectations about how we provide data, what they can do, how they can use that, is really going to rewrite a lot of the customer business models and information regarding that. This is a slide that doesn't have a lot of color on it, doesn't have a lot of glitz. But these really are top business challenges, and this comes from a number of areas that really look at the stats and really decide kind of what customers find important and what utilities are dealing with. So in today's market, you can see the two red lines, and the first one is retain customers. Well, a lot of us have customer networks that we don't retain. We have areas that we kind of have that customer base set. So there's a possibility that retaining customers will be extremely important in the future. But enhancing the customer experience really is one of those areas that we can improve upon quickly, that we can make change quickly, and we really can make the customer experience much more meaningful very quickly and without a lot of hardware, software, technology innovation. We really are going to be able to bring that experience to them quickly. Just a little background of what people are doing today. There's only 20% of the utilities in the United States that have interactive websites. So when we think about other industries and we think about how they're moving forward digitally, 20% is a really low number. It's just one of those areas where we have been about reliability. Utilities have been about service. Utilities have been about when light switches go on or your stove turns on the gas or you open the tap, water, gas, and electric are there and available for you. However, technically in communication, we have been lagging behind. Only 26% of electric utilities have mobile apps that have the ability to work mobily and interact in a two-way communication. That is, placing service orders, looking at outages, seeing what your electric vehicle is doing, basically smart home applications where you can look at thermostats, smart plugs, and other home area network areas and determine how you're going to do that, how you can make change easily, and control more of your environment. Also, the one that's kind of interesting on the bottom, if people are e-billing, and of course many are, those recipients are 64 less likely to call customer service. Today in California, we have some other information I'm just going to add here. In California, the average cost of a customer call is around $9. Nationally, it's a little lower. But $9 to interact on a phone call, even if somebody says, where can I pay my bill? So getting information out, getting that interactive two-way real-time communication and informing customers of the utility environment really drives customers to deal through their applications, through their web portals, through their mobile devices. That's really where a lot of our customers are going, and we'll talk a little bit about customer segmentation later, but that communication channel is important. Digital engagement, it is changing how we look at our homes, our businesses, and how we control them. So some of the things that I've got pointed out here, your mobile phone, obviously making all of your changes. If you have security systems and you have their mobile app, all of that, you can change settings, change thermostat controls. All of these things are now available in many industries. So the technology is not new. It's just something that we really have to catch up with. This is the percent of utilities by area. It's a little busy on this slide, obviously. But you can see what different areas are doing about things like viewing outages. When we look in the past, and SUS has been back to Washington, D.C. to talk with the Smart Grid Task Force a number of times about severe weather events like Superstorm Sandy or Katrina, where customers really got no information at all. Very, very limited information to update them on what their action should be. So if somebody could be more precise in their communication capability and get people better information, decisions made about what to do, kind of what the customer really, really wants to know, and then make those decisions based on that so that they can be kept up to speed on those kinds of issues. So this is something that I think is very important because, as you know, with outages, with repairs, with the notifications, with all of the things that you need to do, communication is key. Digital strategy. Obviously, we want to increase customer satisfaction. But you increase customer satisfaction in many ways. Somebody asked me, I was speaking at a conference on a panel recently, and somebody said to me, they said, what is customer engagement? And my response was, customer engagement is what the customer wants to engage in and how they want to engage in it. So we know there is market segmentation about how customers want to call you, how they want to contact you, how they want to text you, how they want to email you. There's really differences in customer segments. So what we're trying to do, and certainly at SUS, is follow that whole change, is follow that format capability to know, number one, for the customer, the best way for them to use communication, but for the utility to get the information about that communication so that a utility can then go forward and say, here's how people are looking at this, here's how people are viewing their outage, here's how people are viewing their usage, here's how they're viewing their smart home capability, all those kinds of things. So it's different for each customer segmentation. Improve the user experience, obviously communication. There's nothing behind the curtain. We're giving you good information, telling you all the things that the utility knows about your account. We can reduce call volume very quickly by letting people contact you in a different manner. Reduce customer care expenses. There's a direct ROI to saying, if you can do it this way, if you can do it digitally, your service orders, the way you put them in, how you get information and updates on those service orders, all of that can be done in an automated fashion for the customer that wants it. You can lower your energy consumption because you know what's going on. We need to get out of the sticker shock business. If someone knows what they used yesterday or last week or how their weekends vary from their weeks, this is the way we really inform and educate customers. And of course, that leads to saying it's better peak load management if you know what your customers are doing. In the digital strategy, right now there's social integration, obviously. Everyone is sharing. Everybody is doing that, mostly everyone. The mobile area, I mean, everyone has their mobile phone and they can text. They can look at IVR messages. They can get outage alerts. They can do bill pay, get information on past bills and billing history, all that kind of information. And then, of course, on the web, which many utilities are offering pretty vibrant web pages and interaction in that web, but it gives you the capability to do the things it says here. And it does tie you in with all your third-party partners. So if you have rebate programs that are tied into third parties, if you have bill pay that goes to a third party, if you have service requests or any other thing that you may go outside for, the idea is to put all of that behind a single pane of glass so that the customer deals with your utility about everything they need. So, SUS's solution, and when we go into the demo, we'll talk quite a bit about that. If you have better communication, you can build better trust. You can rebuild that trust if anything has happened in the past. Information that gives somebody quick, easy capability. It does give you that digital communication, and the utility usage on a much more frequent basis gives you the ability to get that knowledge out. The interaction for everything, services, all the things that a customer needs to do with you, if I can just go on my mobile and I can do all that and get the information from the utility regularly updating me about my problems or my issues, the customer is going to feel much more secure. It is obviously a smarter experience, and it does. It's an extension of everything else you do. So you're making that available. So if somebody did want to go back and sit down, or they're looking at this, or in California, where we're having such water issues in some of the drought states, if someone saw water running down a street or somebody saw things like that, they would be able to take a picture, send that to their utility with really one click, and give them information that the utility can act on. We are the #1 customer engagement platform. We've won awards. We've had surveys. Our customers are very, very active with us, and really has driven us to that #1 level. Here's the reason. Like I mentioned before, single integrated platform. The customer ownership is yours. You should own that customer. What goes on behind that should all bring all that information a customer needs, again, from any third-party people, third-party information. Anything, say, about the things you use to determine other issues can all be brought into a single pane of glass. It is real-time communication. It's right back, right to you, and you're getting a lot more real-time information from your systems today. You really want to connect anytime on anything. That's extremely important. SUS supports all those platforms. And it's important for you to get basically the use out of the current systems you have. That's why SUS is not a rip and replace shop. It's not go in, you upgrade $6 million in servers and hardware and all that kind of stuff. SUS takes the existing information you have from your legacy systems and the other existing systems you have, and we'll see that in the demo, and uses that information to make you much more real-time, much more active, much more capable of interacting with your customers. So we're going to go into the demo now. I'm sorry, I've got to change over here a little bit.
Perfect. And Lance, if you can just go ahead and make sure from the console you click Share and My Screen, and that way we can get.
I did that earlier. All right, I did already share it now.
There we go. Perfect.
Okay.
Now we're in sync. Outstanding. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to do a small demo with the SUS product. And this is called Smart Customer Mobile. So what you're seeing here is a screen, a page that really is a landing page, but it's going to give you a tremendous amount of information at a glance. So when you see these modules up on top and kind of scrolling across, there's My Account, Usage, Billing, Outages, Notifications, Compare Spending, Connect Me, Service Modules, Efficiency, Smart Home, EV, and Green Footprint. These are all individual modules that are fully configured at this time. So this is not something you have to build, something you have to go into a room and say, let's develop this and get that going. These are already completely configured. So although there's a lot of configuration in them for the utility, their look and feel, kind of how they want things arranged, what digit forms look like, all of those kinds of things, you're going to see these 12 modules available to you. However, you can pick and choose the modules you want because the analytics platform behind it is gathering data on all of these modules, but basically will only populate the ones that the utility needs or sees as important. So you can see here, one of these things is it runs like an app. So you can move screens around. You can change places where they go. You can do all of that kind of thing just like you can on a mobile app, where you would move something around and you find something's more important than others. You can change sizes and do those things so that you really, when you look at it, I want to see my usage right off the bat. That's why I've got this page much bigger. So I want to see where I've been back to daily, hourly, daily, or monthly, and really drill down into my usage over a period of time. Now, a lot of this data is AMI data, automated metering infrastructure data, but a monthly view and trending and how that happens as well, if that's what you're providing your customers today, that can easily give you trending capability and everything as well. So we'll kind of go through these modules kind of from right to left and go fairly quickly because if we have any questions, we want to be able to get to that. And many of you have similar types of systems that give some of this data out. Well, we're going to kind of show you how you get behind that data and how this consistent look and feel is across all platforms for your customers. So the My Account is really what your relationship page is. Your profiles for customers, the addresses you have, what your properties are and everything. And again, this is one-to-many or many-to-one. So if you had 10 homes and you rented 9 of them out, all of those would be listed here. But as you change default buttons and things like that, the data for that particular address is going to come up. So you're going to have all that capability here. These are fully editable by the customer at any time. And then the CSR can have these same views to see if you're going through with a customer in a conversation or anything like that to do that. You'll see over here on the left a support tab that just exists throughout basically SUS's whole platform. And what that does is it gives a CSR or somebody who's working on an account the capability to connect with the customer online. We even have the ability in a very limited way and with a lot of security behind it, the ability for the rep themselves to kind of take over this session. So if somebody was trying to do something and they needed to know how to do that or they needed some instruction, the representative could do that for the customer and then they would know how, and that may reduce that contact in a different way for that. So this capability always exists. So we've got all that information here. If you go to settings, it really gives the customer the capability to kind of drive the relationship in the way they want with you. So you could have water plans, power plans, gas plans. You could give other information about a customer, like they have an EV, like they had other things that would use something, whether it's commercial or industrial. All of that information up there. You can have the type of usage they have. So you would have regular usage, or you could have a net usage, like a solar panel array on a home where they're offering the power. So if you turn to net usage, then you would see that meter going back and forth or going both ways, and what your system would be putting out, the solar system. Kind of configuring the payments, the language they want to speak in, what their home language is. So it would be Spanish, English. We basically support just about every language out there. Kind of how they want things to look for water or power, and then how they want to be communicated with. So if they want to text for notifications, they want to text for outage, or emails, or a push notification, or they want to get a call from the IVR about an issue. All of this can be set by the customer for the modules that you have. So these would be the modules you have, and they would be able to set that up. Also, if you have AMI data, you have the ability, just like AT&T, Verizon, or other communication companies do, of sending usage notifications. So if somebody had an AMI meter and they set their budget, and I'll show you how you can do that, they set their budget at, say, $250 per month for electric. They can say, please, send me a message when I'm at 75% of that $250 in the monthly cycle. And what they'll be able to do is then get that notification, and maybe they've used 75% and it's only 10 days into the cycle. That's going to be very good information for the customer. One of the things we do see with almost every one of our customers is once they have a mobile app and have all the bill history capability, to look at all their past payments, to see when they paid, to see what their bills were before, and all those kinds of things, people start to move towards paperless bill at a higher rate. So that's something we've seen happen a great deal. So it's as easy as turning it on and off if your systems support that. So that's one thing we've seen a great deal of. Also, quiet hours. I don't want anything from 10 to 6. Even though someone may want to know if there's an outage in the middle of the night, they can set this up themselves. So all of this capability in the My Account. If we go to usage, you're going to get the usage kind of the way that you're able to provide it. So if you've got daily data on an AMI or you're sending out daily data from an MDM system or something like that, you're going to get this kind of data. Because what SUS does is it sits on your existing systems. It's a middleware. It's a software solution that sits on your systems and takes all of this data out for these views. So the customer's going to get that information right away. So if it were, here we've got it on seasonal, and I know that's important, but what may be more important is their monthly. So they're going to see all their monthlies, all the capability to drill down and do all of those kinds of things. So I want to go right here and I want to go on that, because that month, if I have daily, is then going to bring up all of those days in that month. So I can continue to click down and find out, basically, now we've gone to hourly. So you're able to look at all of those kinds of things. Customers have an easy, quick feel. And on the application, it runs just as easily as this, even though we do most of our demos on the web so that you can see it a little more clearly. But it is a native app and uses all of the tools the phone offers. So you can also, if you wanted, you could say, I want to see what the temperature is going to be because I want to be able to set things differently. I live in the San Fernando Valley north of Los Angeles, and it's a hot zone. It's a very hot temperate zone in the summer. So I may want to see what my system is doing or what I think my system is going to be doing when it gets much hotter. All of those kinds of things. Obviously, some of these things are easy. You can go in dollars. You can go in kilowatt hours, make that change. You can select dates and filter for when you wanted to see your historical usage, all of those kinds of things. You can import all of these, obviously, to an Excel spreadsheet and everything. And the utility can set, kind of based on what their experience is and past usage in areas, can set what someone would consider low, average, or high. So you could say, this looks like a low usage for a 1,500 square foot home on a small lot in an area that's not too hot in the summers, or those kinds of things. So the utility has a great deal of configurability in this tool to kind of inform their customers of what's going on. You've got daily averages, highest that you can see. It would be, if they had gas, it would be the same thing where you may have it in CCF. If you had water, you would have it in HCFs or gallons or whatever. It would break down that way for all those utilities. Billing, it really gives you all of the capability, all the history of your billing, the ability to budget that bill, kind of giving you information about how you're doing among others and comparing your spending, etc. So all of these things here, first of all, you're going to get a breakdown of how a bill is calculated, what all the different ranges are, if you've got complex rates, all of those kinds of things. If you tier your rates or do that, you're going to get all of this kind of information so a customer knows how that bill is calculated. If you're a municipality, and like LADWP is, they bill for 5 things. So one of them is solid waste. One of them is city utility user's tax. All of those kinds of things, it's going to explode all those charges. And then if they have different contact information for all of those people, you can illustrate that all here. Of course, one of the things you can do is obviously view the image of the bill. You can view the bill just as the way the customer's seeing it. So you can, maybe it's a little slow to come up here, but you can see that, and then the customer's looking at that bill the way that would come if they're still getting it mailed to them. So all of those things. Obviously, you can pay in 2 clicks. It's the same way you can pay on your mobile phone. You basically had your information on your reference page, whatever account you're using. You just submit a payment, and there it is, and you hit next. There's all your billing information, and you can go right back to that. So this is going to take all of that bill detail, explode that all out, give you information about last period, payment due periods for the current balance, payment periods for what's past due. All of those things are going to be blown up here. If you want your bill history, you're going to be able to get that quickly and efficiently. It would all be listed for a customer. So really there's no more calls in January saying I need copies of my last 12 bills so that I can give that to my accountant. All of that stuff is going to be online for that customer all the time. Some of the things about comparing customers and how they're doing really is up to the utility, how much comparison they want to see. But we offer all of that capability just because there is some value to that for many customers. So we're going to take some basic details, provide them. Again, you can do it by zip code, by district, by whatever. That's configurable for the utility to do all of that. They can send in a billing inquiry online. They can get annual goals once they enlist in programs, products, and services that are based on efficiency or other things like that. And I'll show you the budget by bill capability. You do have the capability, if you're getting AMI data during a month, you have the ability to say, like we talked about in the preference setting, you have the ability to say, I want to set my gauge up here. I only want to spend $161, and then notify me if I go over my budget. I'll turn that on. I'll save this setting. And now you're going to get those messages based on what you set as a bill expectation. So you have the capability to do that, increase your communication, do all of those kinds of things. Outage information, the ability to get outage information very quickly on your handheld, because remember, you may not be at home, or you may be at work, or you may be looking for your mother's home or your parents' home or your grandparents' home. All of this capability to take a look at outages, what's happening with that outage, how long the restoration time may be, and the updates that are on it. Because if you can get updates from the field, we all know it has to be updated based on field activity. But if you can get that, you can get that out real time to your customers. You can also report outages very quickly. You can take a picture with the GIS coordinates from the phone. You can provide a video. You can do all of those things, send that very quickly into the utility and give them the capability of finding out where that is quickly, what's affected, and then getting that message out to the others that may be affected. So this is something, reporting outages is very quick to do. It's very, very efficient because remember, you've got all the information, all the GIS coordinates and mapping coordinates from your phone. So you're going to get all of this, and this is for basically for any type of commodity, whether it's water, power, and gas, because SUS works only in the utility industry. That's what we're familiar with. So you've got planned outages if you're going to do a cement relining project, or you're going to have poles down to replace and do all those kinds of things. You'll be able to communicate this out to your customers very quickly and efficiently about what's going to go on. I come from the day of sending all my meter readers out to put door hangers on doors to let someone know that water's going to be shut off or power was going to be interrupted. This really is light years ahead of that. Your notifications, so for a customer, they're going to have their inbox. They're going to be able to know when they contacted you, what it was about, and keep all that information just the way you would on your emails. The utility is also going to be able to see all of this on their side. We'll go through that in just a minute. To see all of that, so you have that kind of audit trail capability for everything a customer's doing. So if they're talking to you and they've got a services issue and they said, you know, hey, I want my service turned off next Tuesday or on, I don't know if I have anything loaded in services, but all of that will be on here so the reps can see it or somebody who's working on the account can see it. They can save all of that, look at all of that, and then they kind of have that capability to know what was really going on. But it's built just like an inbox, so it's very, very comfortable. On the compare spending module, you're going to see the ability to compare in just about every way. You can compare yourself. That's what we're doing here because same period last year to what I'm using today, or basically kind of my trending, what's going on. You could compare a zip code or a district. You could compare the entire utility. You could compare all of your services together. Even though that gets a little busy, It still may be something someone wants to see. So all of that capability is there. This is also where we set our budget, remember, at $161? Well, it looks like we're going to only spend $73.63 based on our trends, so we're well below the budget, so everything's in the green. If I went back to that and changed that budget to $61, let's see how we'd be doing back here. Now I don't look so good because it does look like I'm going to run over that. So then I can make adjustments. I can do what I need to do to bring me back into my budget. Connect Me really is the connectability from basically everything we've talked about, whether it's service orders, whether it's a billing inquiry, whether it's anything like that, it's going to give you all that capability. So when you select the topic, it's going to change dynamically to what you want to see. If you've got digital forms that you use, that you send from station to station or from group to group, all of that would be in there, so you're getting the proper information for everything. If you've got something like a service request and you want to select a move in, move out, that's going to change that form to what the utility needs. All of these have capability of e-signature on them, all of that digital capability, so you're going to be able to get stuff kind of in maybe more expeditious way, because I remember there were certain accounts we had to send into a customer service center to provide ID or do all of that. You can get a lot of this now digitally, and that's what we want to provide in it. And these feature what we call automated feedback loops. So what's going to happen is you're going to get every time that order is touched and it's on system. So if I put in a service order for a meter test and I put it in, I'll get a note back that says, hey, we got your request, we'll tell you when it's scheduled. It's scheduled next Tuesday from 10 to 2. Trucks are en route, if you have that capability to tell a customer. And then it's going to tell you that order was finished. So here's the results. Please contact us if you have any issues. So that's the kind of contact capability goes along with this tool. Efficiency, we can tie in basically all your rebate programs. We can tie in savings tips, educational tips, and let you know the backfeed from what customers are doing. So you're going to get all of that on the admin system that allows you to do that. You're going to see that admin. You're going to get, what did somebody contact you? What method did they use? Did they use an iPhone? Were they on their portal? Did they use an Android? What modules are they looking at? They looked at My Account the most, usage second most, billing third most. You're going to get all of that detail back constantly. If you send out, say, 1,000 bills in a day, and you send those bills out digitally, you're going to find out who paid those bills at what time, how much that bill was for, and you're going to see all of that as a quick real-time snapshot for anybody who needs to look at that and for any customers that paid you. So you're going to get all that data back very quickly. But this really is capability for configuring these programs. These are all self-configurable by the utility. So if you wanted to start a new program, all you have to do is name it, give it details, put it online, and see who likes it, who registered for it. All of that is real time. The smart home capability really is wherever you're tied into any home area network, or you have smart plugs, or you have a smart thermostat or anything like that, you can, it all gives you future weather information, all of those things that allows it. So you can turn them on. Electric vehicles, we basically have all electric vehicle APIs, everything that data is coming through from manufacturers and from the individual car. And we can tell you rate wheels of the best time to charge. We can send you messages that if you plug your car in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we can send you a message that says, hey, if you plug your car in at midnight and charge it from midnight to 4, it would have saved you $6.21 today. All of that capability is there. And then we have Green Footprint, which really is a location device. So if you want to, if you have green programs for your commercial customers and they've enlisted in lighting retrofits or they've got chiller retrofits and everything, and you want to say, hey to the community, these people are using you know, very good products. They're really trying to be green. They're really helping the environment. You can do that. You can also place payment locations or anything else on these maps. So those really are the 12 modules that we were going to go over. Again, those modules are independent, individual, and highly configurable. So that kind of information is readily available. So I think we can kind of go to some questions now. I'll show a little bit of the admin module if I can get to it. And that will give you, because remember, you're getting all of this data back. The utility gets everything back that a customer does, and that's one of the very important issues. So David, are there any questions at this time?
Yeah, so we actually have a handful of questions related to the demo in the queue. And for anybody who would like to ask questions, please go ahead and use the Q&A pane, and we will respond to those. So the first one actually deals with some customization. And I believe I can answer this one as well. But we have a question regarding the My Account tab. And the question is if we can customize it to have more contact path fields, such as text, phone, mobile phone, et cetera, home phone, work phone. My response is that we can customize it based on what your needs are. However, I'll let you dive deeper into that, into what we do in the implementation phase, Lance.
Yes. And the short answer to that is, of course, we can. If you have other fields that you want in there, we can add all of those fields. That field is just basically a replication, so we can continue to do that. So what SUS does is when we start any engagement, we have a business requirements development team that spends 2 to 3 weeks with the utility and goes through basically everything like that. So what you'll see from a number of our customers, even though kind of the dashboard, the home landing page and things will look similar, they have changed a lot of the configuration inside. So yes, that's very easily done for us. We have about 300 employees at SUS, and about 150 of those are developers, and many of those are on our implementation teams. So yes, things like that, changing that around, changing forms, drop-down screens, everything you want to see is configured to that utility's needs, because we work all over the country and they do have different needs. And again, since we support water customers only, water and power customers, water, power, and gas customers, we have all that flexibility.
Okay, and let's see, I've got a couple more in here. We've got some questions regarding some of the back-end systems and integration. Is this cloud or on-premise? So I guess we'll begin with the back-end systems that we integrate with.
I'll do the cloud. I'll just say very quickly, this works either in the cloud or on your premises. Obviously, some people really want to protect that data. They don't want anything to go out. So yes, that can exist on your server boxes, all of that. Or we have very, very strong cloud applications. We have some of the best cloud people in any of the industry. So yes, it can be either one. Many of our customers, a vast majority of our customers, are using cloud applications.
Okay, and that ties into this one here. So we've got a question regarding being able, so utilities, IT department, or staff being able to support software deployments like Smart Customer Mobile. So.
Right, that's obviously always a major concern, and that is why a lot of our customers prefer to go with the cloud application. It's one of those things where what our customers say is, we couldn't believe you utilized our IT staff so little. Obviously, you are heavily utilizing your IT staff currently. We know that trying to take somebody out of their routine for 3 months, 6 months, whatever, is very, very difficult for you. We do ask key IT stakeholders for that time during our business requirements development, and then, of course, work with them throughout the period of the entire implementation. But one thing that's different about SUS, and I know many won't believe is out there, we have never had an implementation that took longer than 16 weeks. We have had implementations where the connectability for customer systems, they had to create that connectability for us, either through a third party or through themselves, and that took a little longer, but SUS has never taken more than 16 weeks. So we're not a long-term implementation company. Like I mentioned before, this is a fully developed tool that we install. So we're familiar, we have a smart lab capability in our offices in California that runs basically 6 or 8 CISs a day. So we run SAP, we run Oracle, we run a Harris product, we run two systems that were completely home-built that are legacy systems. We run those regularly, so anytime anything new comes out from SAP or Oracle or others, anytime that integration need is necessary, we're on it before you get it. So we're able to integrate extremely quickly because we have a number of pre-built connection capabilities. So it really is kind of putting that out there. We've done small utilities. We have a water utility just near us that we just completed. They went AMI, but it's very small. They have only 3,000 services. We did it in 8 days. So those kinds of things, we're not going to take your IT time. I think that's a very good thing. Some people say, why don't you need more? But we don't.
Perfect. And that response, I believe, wraps up about 2 other questions in the queue. So with that being said, I'll let you. We'll pause on the Q&A and let you wrap up since we only have about 8 minutes left.
Sure. What I'm kind of illustrating here is the analytics that the utility gets back, and this is kind of a quick look at it. So all of the modules that you would have, how that looks, what your user behavior is, how you get to those things, what are my customers looking at, what do they find valuable, what are they paying on, what are they using, what kind of devices do they see as valuable. All of those kinds of things are going to come back to you very quickly and efficiently. And that was very important, kind of like for my job. When I was director, I needed to see what customer behavior was. We had none of this, and really, these things available now are amazing. So you're going to get back everything that somebody contacts you in. You're going to find out what efficiency programs people are finding important. You're going to find out where they are. I'm going to be able to look at date filters. I can select areas. I can go down to zip code areas or areas you would say were your districts or service territories. I'm going to be able to look at all other kinds of data on my rebates programs on this particular page. All of this, and then go directly to that kind of breakdown, where I can go right down to the customer. So if I want to see who's in Chino Hills, who paid their bill, I want to go right down to that customer. I'm going to get all of that information. I may want to see other areas. Here's Irvine, here's San Diego. So I'm going to get it right down to the customer level. I want to see what kind, is it residential or commercial? I don't think I have a lot of commercial loaded, but mostly residential. But you'll see, you're going to get all of this stuff to click on, get down to all of those. So that's really just the kind of details, in a way, a utility needs. Because we know we've got 20% of our customers doing this, and we've got another 20% doing that. And then we've got about 60% of customers in the middle who really do want to go further technically, who really do want to use the services you're providing. That really is a major area for your customers to connect with you. If I want to know how many service orders are out there, or I want to know how many efficiency programs, or how much usage data people were looking at, I want to look at the total usage data in Chino Hills, which is out here. I want to see the total kilowatt hours used by everyone. And then I want to see that accumulated or aggregated. All of that data is capable. You can send it to Excel sheets, PDF it, social media it. You can really get it out there completely so you'll know everything. Who's going, who's enlisting in programs, what's happening. You'll see all of that capability here. You'll be able to go in and you'll be able to configure programs. You'll be able to set up an efficiency program. You'll be able to do all of those kinds of things. You want to say, I want to turn a program off. I want to inactivate that status, and then I'm going to say that's going to go from green to red. I want to go, these programs are summer programs. The 1st of June, I want to bring all of those back up for customers. All of that kind of capability is your own. Because, sometimes people have said that customization can be a 4-letter word. We believe that the more you can configure yourself gives you much more control as well. So all of this capability is here. We have a very, very strong demand response program. But all of these things, if you want to look at some of the DR capability, we have both commercial, industrial, and residential. All of that is capable. So really, it's just this tool is a very, very active tool. It's data that really gets out of your systems now. So your investment in this is very minimal. You're really not saying, hey, by the way, you need a new CIS. That's not where we're at. We're saying you've spent a lot of money, you've got a lot of good systems, a lot of things are working for you, some not as well maybe as you want them to, but many of them are. We're going to extract that data, we're going to make it look really good and provide that information to your customer and the utility that they need to operate. They need that information. So David, is there anything you want to wrap up on?
So thanks, Lance. So we only have a few minutes left here, but let's go ahead. If you'd like, Lance, we can go ahead and do our last handful of slides, and then we have a survey for our attendees today to complete. But if you want to. Well, since we've got your PowerPoint up, let's just go from the slide after the demo. If you want to talk about, we did talk a little bit about the implementation, and with the time, let's just go straight to, let's just jump straight into that we do have other solutions available from Smart Utility Systems. So we have the Smart, the Customer Engagement Module. We also offer for mobile workforce and for BI. We have our Smart Mobile Workforce solution, as well as our Smart IQ solution, as well as we have if you go to our website right now, you can learn more about our Water IQ and work that we're doing, especially here on the West. A lot of us are in drought states, and so you can go to our website to learn more about that. And let's just go ahead and throw up, since we do have just a short amount of time left, and we want to be mindful of your time, and we thank you all for joining us today. Let's just jump to our final slide and to where you can ask to contact Lance. Whoops.
Yep. I'm sorry.
There we go.
I jumped out of that one.
No, we just, that's quite all right. So for those of you who want to get in touch with Lance, and again, Lance, thanks again so much for your participation today. I think for a lot of us who have been working in technology and in the utilities space, your experience from DWP is really invaluable, especially the insight. I know there were a few questions regarding some of the stats that we showed earlier on. Some of those stats are actually utility-wide versus just one specific, an energy, gas, or water.
Of course, yes.
And then, again, if you guys have any questions, we encourage you to learn more from our website and as well to contact Lance to get further information. Not a lot of times that you can get a direct contact with somebody, but Lance is here, especially for those of you who have joined and you deal with customers every day and you're looking for ways to improve that experience. Lance would be more than happy to have that conversation with you. So, with that being said,
obviously, David, it's very hard to do in an hour. This is a product that offers a great deal of communication capability. So a longer conversation or a more technical conversation, we always suggest that. And that way, those questions, kind of the reality of answering those questions with a little deeper dive is very, very important. So we're always willing to do that.
Well, very good. Well, now we're, I'm sorry, David.
I was going to say, at the risk of us, I was going to hand it off to you, Lisa. I was going to say, at the risk of sounding like a morning radio talk show, we'll pass it over to you.
Well, that's okay. We certainly appreciate both you and Lance and Smart Utility Systems for joining us today and sharing your story. Just a few parting notes for our attendees. Just a reminder that online submissions are now open for Conference 40, and you can submit your abstracts online at www.cisconference.org. You can see the web address there on the slide, and the deadline is August 10th. We also encourage you to join us next month for our next CS Week Marketplace webinar. It's being presented by Cognizant. It's Digital Transformation and Customer Service Explained, 5 key considerations to be ready for utilities of the future. Watch your email and your social media channels for the registration link. And with that, I want to once again just say thank you again, Lance, David, and Smart Utility Systems. And this will conclude our webinar.
Thank you, everyone.